Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Zach Pasquarello, and in this video I'm going to talk about how much do bookkeepers charge per hour. If you're thinking about starting an online bookkeeping business, or maybe you have already tried to start and you're looking for a little bit of help on how to grow your online bookkeeping business, this video is designed exactly for you. I'm starting a completely new series. I used to talk a lot about my trucking company, but I'm switching gears and now I'm talking all about my bookkeeping business. The whole goal of these videos is simple. I just want to share my knowledge and my experience to help other people who are thinking about doing what I did 3 years ago. So for me, I started my bookkeeping business in 2020 and I grew to the point where I was able to quit my full-time job, and I'm making enough money to support myself and my family running my bookkeeping business full-time. I feel like that is every entrepreneur's dream, to start a business, grow a business to the point where they can run their business full-time. That's exactly what I was able to do, and my goal with these videos is to help teach you how to do exactly what I did. If you're looking for help starting your online bookkeeping business, or if you want help growing your online bookkeeping business, I have a link in the description below. Feel free to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me. Without wasting any time, I want to jump right into the meat and potatoes of this video. How much do bookkeepers charge per hour? And I'm specifically talking about bookkeeping business owners. I'm not necessarily talking about a full-time employee who you might hire as an in-house bookkeeper. Chances are, if you're looking to hire a full-time employee, you're probably going to pay that person $20 an hour on the low end and $30 an hour on the high end. And it also depends on location. If you are in a less densely populated area, you're probably going to have less competition, and generally people in more rural areas, the salaries are a little bit lower, so you're probably looking at closer to $20 an hour. If you are in a large metropolitan area like New York City or Boston or Philadelphia, you're probably looking at hourly wages closer to $30 an hour, if not higher than $30 an hour. But with that being said, I'm not talking about hiring a full-time in-house bookkeeper. I am talking about how much do bookkeepers charge per hour whenever they have their own business. And this video is designed to help you as a bookkeeping business owner decide how much to charge your clients. So we're going to talk about three things. First of all is experience, second is location, and third is should you be charging hourly or monthly? First of all, experience. Your hourly rate is going to depend significantly on your experience. Whenever you're just getting started, if you have just recently quit your full-time job, or if you're just trying to get your first client, I would probably look at $25 an hour. I would probably look at how much money you're making right now. Like if you are currently making $25 an hour, then why not try to get bookkeeping clients at $25 an hour? Because if you're able to get 40 hours a week at $25 an hour with your bookkeeping business, then all of a sudden you are able to quit your full-time job because you've just replaced one for one your full-time job salary with your new bookkeeping business salary. That's where I started, $25 an hour back in 2020, because I had zero clients. What am I going to do? Charge $100 an hour and I don't have any clients? Looking back on it, maybe I probably would have started a little bit higher than $25 an hour. I had no experience, I had no clients, so I was just happy to talk to anybody looking to hire me as a bookkeeper. So if you're just getting started, I would not recommend starting your hourly rate at $60 or $70 an hour. And whenever I'm talking about bookkeepers, I'm not talking about CPAs. So if you already have your CPA and if you are thinking about starting a bookkeeping business, you will be able to charge a lot more per hour because you already have that accreditation. You already have that certification as a CPA. So you have more experience behind your name. But I'm talking more about bookkeepers with little to no experience starting a bookkeeping business. I know $25 an hour sounds really low and you're not going to stay there for very long, and I'm even hesitant to say $25 an hour, but for the first month, like if I were you, just land one client at $25 an hour. land a second client, maybe $30 an hour, land the third or fourth client at like $35 or $40 an hour, and then you can slowly work your way up. But I would just really try to get that first client, because also you're going to make a lot of mistakes with that very first client because you have no experience. I'm sure there's a lot of people that might disagree with this. They might recommend that you start at $50 or $60 an hour just getting started. But man, if I had 0 clients, I would absolutely hate to potentially not get a client because I'm charging $60 an hour. Like, I would rather have 1 client paying me $25 an hour than have 0 clients paying me $60 an hour. So I know 25 sounds super low, but that's what I did to get started. I got my very first client at $25 an hour, and then from there I went up. So that's what I would do if I were getting started. Okay, now location. So I talked about experience, and I already talked about location a little bit with hiring a full-time bookkeeper, but location really matters a lot because obviously business owners in New York City or Los Angeles are accustomed to having higher expenses than business owners in less densely populated, less metropolitan areas. So you need to look at the area you're in. You need to look at the demographic you're serving. If you are in an upscale, more wealthy area, maybe you can charge a little bit more. If you are in a less wealthy area, maybe you're going to have to lower your rates. So look at your cost of living. Do a quick Google search on like the average bookkeeper salary in my city or the average wages in my town. Do a little bit of research and try to get a ballpark, a rough estimate for the location you're in. And if you've been living there for a long time, you already probably know generally what your cost of living looks like for your area, but just keep that in mind because if you are living not in New York City, you are going to charge probably a lot less per hour than a bookkeeper trying to start a business in New York City. But also keep in mind, this is a remote online business, so you are potentially serving clients all over the country. So maybe keep that in mind whenever you onboard a new client. If you onboard a client from, let's just say, for example, South Dakota, and then you onboard a client from New York City, keep that in mind whenever you're talking to these people because the client in South Dakota is probably accustomed to spending a little bit less on their monthly expenses than that client in New York City. So location not only matters for you, but it also matters for your client. So just keep that in mind whenever you're talking to clients, whenever you're advertising your hourly rates, keep location in mind. Okay, so we've talked about location, we've talked about experience. Those two things matter a lot when determining your hourly rate. And real quick, before I get to the third step, I want to talk about my hourly rates. So I started at $25 an hour, the very first client I got, and then I moved up to $50 an hour very quickly. After I got my first client, after I got a couple monthly fixed expense clients, I'll talk about that in a second, I very quickly increased my hourly rate to $50 an hour. And then the next year, I increased my hourly rate for new clients to $65 an hour. And now I'm at $70 an hour with new clients, and then I also charge $100 per hour for one-on-one consultation. So like if you want to talk to me or if you want to meet with me one-on-one for 1 hour or more, I'll charge $100 an hour. But if you just want me to do work for you at an hourly basis, I'll charge $70 an hour. So I progressed from $25 an hour up to $70 an hour over the course of 3 years. The last thing I want to talk about experience and your hourly rate is just try to get 5 or 10 clients first. Like focus on getting 5 to 10 clients, and then once you've gotten so busy that like, whoa, I need to stop getting clients. Like once you have that problem, then you can significantly increase your hourly rate. Because if you already have 20 or 30 clients, and like I don't really need more clients, but if someone's willing to pay me $100 an hour, absolutely, I will work with that person. Like wait to get to that point before you start jacking up your hourly rates, because you want to build your book of business first, and you want to get experience, and you want to get your name out there first in the first 6 to 12 months, and then you could start increasing your prices. Because I promise you, people will pay you. People do pay me $80, $90, or $100 an hour to talk with me and to work with me, but you need to get to that point first. So give it time. Get a couple clients at $25 an hour, get a couple clients at $40 an hour, slowly work your way up, build experience, and then you'll be able to start charging $80, $90, or $100 an hour. Okay, so this whole video has been all about charging per hour, and that's a simple way to do it. There's no confusion. You do your work and you bill your client on an hourly basis, but I actually don't charge per hour, and I've got a couple reasons why, and I'll outline them for you right now. So it is the most simple. It makes the most common sense. Like, hey, I'm gonna put in an hour of work for you, and you're gonna pay me X amount of dollars for that 1 hour of work. It's the most simple, but it keeps you in that employee mindset. It really makes you feel like you are just another employee for that business owner, because you're just trading your time for your money, and it doesn't really encourage you to optimize your systems and to work more efficiently. I'm never saying that you're going to purposely work longer and slower to get paid more per hour for a client. Like, you're always going to try your best, and you're always going to try to get things done as accurately and as quickly as possible, because you always want to deliver A+ customer service. But there's limited incentive to get things done as quickly as possible in comparison to getting paid a fixed monthly fee. The other downside of working hourly is it surprises the client every single month. They're always going to get their bill. They're always going to be like, wow, did it really take you 20 hours? Man, it went up again. Like, it took you more hours this month to do it last month. Like, there's always going to be a question. There's always going to, can I see your log of hours that you were working on? Like, what exactly were you doing for all those hours? Like, there's always going to be a question in the back of the mind of the business owner, like, man, could I hire somebody who could do this a little bit faster so I could pay them a little bit less? There's always going to be a question every time you send your invoice. And also, you're going to get paid after the fact. So you're going to work all of your hours this month and then send them their invoice, and then they're going to pay you after you've done all of those hours. And there's always going to be a question. It could potentially change. And not only that, but now you have to meticulously keep track of your hours and describe what you did every minute working for that client and then send it to them. And there's no real option for auto pay. So charging people per hour can be difficult and complicated. That's why I prefer the fixed monthly fee rate. I think it's the best way to charge clients, and I'll tell you why. So the client is never surprised. You tell the client it's going to be $250 per month, and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z bookkeeping services for you, and you will have a consistent bill every month. Additionally, you can charge them on the first of the month for work that you're about to complete. So if you ever have a problem client who is slow to pay or maybe won't pay you, then you just don't do the work until they pay you. So you say the invoice is due on the first of the month, January 1st, 2023. Once they pay you, then I will start doing your bookkeeping for January 2023. And there's no surprises. It's $250 every month, and it gives the client the option to set up auto pay, which is great for you, great for the client. That way they don't have to worry about sending a check or initiating an ACH direct deposit every month. And that way you know for sure that you are getting paid on the first of every month from that client. So a fixed monthly rate, in my opinion, is the best. And if you made it this far, I'm going to give you a couple tips and a couple secrets on how to price out your clients and how to charge your clients based on the complexity and size of their business. A couple downsides is that it can be difficult to guess exactly how much to charge your client, but don't worry, in this video I'm about to explain right now exactly how to guess how much to charge each client per month. And the other downside is you might end up working more hours. So if you charge a client $200 a month and in the back of your mind you want to make about $50 an hour, you might end up working more than 4 hours per month on that client. That's just the nature of the beast. So maybe in your contract have an agreement that this rate is fixed for 3 or 6 months, and then after that we will renegotiate the fixed monthly cost, because the whole goal is that hopefully your clients' businesses will grow and become larger and become more complex. So naturally, I think it only makes sense. Not only inflation and cost of living goes up for everybody on an annual basis, but also the businesses are going to grow. They're going to hire more employees. They're going to have more sales, more expenses. So it only makes sense that your job as their bookkeeper will become more complex. So it only makes sense that after 3 to 6 months, we'll renegotiate the monthly rate, and it probably will increase based on the size and complexity of your business. Just make sure you clearly communicate that with your clients in the beginning. Okay, last piece of advice. If you've made it this far, congratulations. I'm going to tell you exactly how I price out my clients. So my rule of thumb is number of transactions times 2. So if a client has 100 transactions per month, I charge them $200 per month. And I have a bare minimum. If they are a brand new business just starting out, my minimum is $200 a month. So if they only have 20 or 30 transactions, I still charge them $200 a month, just because there's still a lot of work that goes into doing bookkeeping for a client. There's a lot of communication. You still need to reconcile their accounts. You still need to generate their profit and loss. You still need to manage their QuickBooks account. You're still logging into their QuickBooks account on a daily or a weekly basis. So there is still a minimum amount of work that goes into working with every client. So I have a bare minimum of $200 per month, no matter how many transactions they have, but it goes up from there. So if they have, let's say, 300 transactions per month, then their monthly fee will be $600 per month, and that has rarely failed me. I I usually work just about the exact number of hours that it would take to make up that monthly rate. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a little bit less, but in the past 3 years of bookkeeping, it has generally been right on with that 2 times number of transactions. And the way you do that is you request, hey, I need your 3 most recent bank statements and credit card statements. It's super simple. You're gonna need their bank statements and credit card statements anyway to do their bookkeeping, so you might as well request that you get those in the beginning and give them a quote. It's a little tedious. You have to go through all 3 months, count up all the transactions for the checking account and the credit card, divide that by 3 so you get the average number of transactions per month, and then multiply that by 2, and that is their monthly fee. Most of my clients are right around $250 to $400 per month, and it usually ends up working out pretty well with the number of hours I put in. So I hope this video was helpful. If you made it to the end, and if you want to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me, the link is in the description. I'll talk to you later.